Well, how you guys doing? So, today we are diving into the black hole of Navamsa chart in Vedic Astrology. And I think I have made about, 4 or 5 videos on Navamsa in the past 4 years. And I think I calculated this, and I've told other people too, that I can make at least 28 videos on Navamsa chart in describing the Navamsa. And will that be enough? I don't know. I don't think so. Navamsa is it's a universe in itself. Navamsa chart is a universe in itself. Because look, we're all students of astrology. I'm a student, you're a student who's watching this. Somebody who watches this avidly is definitely a student. And after studying more and more on astrology, like when I get books from Sunil, like I go to Saptarishi's bookstore and I get let's say 5 books every 2 weeks or so. Sunil sends me 5 additional books as a gift to me. And so, I'm just in my free time. God, I feel lucky if I get a little bit of free time to ever read a book. But when I do, I'm just fascinated with all the information. I mean, he sent me a book by C.S. Patel, and just that book was, you think the Navamsa chart itself is just a end all and be all, but you can actually create another Navamsa chart from the Navamsa chart itself. It's these things I feel like I'm learning calculus again. I feel like I'm learning trigonometry. When I read some of these books, and I'm telling you, I don't care who it is. I don't care how ignorant they are and how knowledgeable they are of astrology. But if somebody tells you that what you're studying is nothing compared to what the scientists are studying at NASA, they're absolutely wrong. You are probably 10 notches ahead of everybody in this world who is trying to understand, not even study, man, just understand astrology, the concept of astrology, and just the depth of astrology. Not even trying to decode anything, just to understand the depth of it. You are way ahead of 99.99999% of the population out there. Vast subject. So today, I'm picking the Navamsa again. And just for all the new people, Navamsa is a chart that kind of tells the inner heart, the inner soul of each planet in your birth chart. Like we funnel it down, okay? We have a planet in a sign, right? In a house. Then we have planet in a certain nakshatra. There are 3 nakshatras in each zodiac sign. And then each nakshatra is divided into 4 parts, known as the padhas. Depending upon which padha each planet is placed in, based on that planet is going to be settled into a certain sign and a certain house in your Navamsa chart. So it's kind of like we're funneling it down as to what this planet really means. So that's what Navamsa is. It kind of shows the heart of your planet. Your planet is debilitated, right? It's acting debilitated. But what happens is, why is it that you feel like you're getting better at that debilitated part of your planet? You have a debilitated sun. You had a very low ego, very low self-esteem in your youth. But then as you grew older, it just suddenly, you became more confident. You became more lively. Your self-esteem, arose in front of the world. And then you're wondering, why is this my planet doing this to me? I thought I'm just supposed to be debilitated. Well, because it was exalted in the Navamsa, the trajectory here started to get bigger. the qualities of the planet starting to get, it increases. So that's how Navamsa operates. This is why, many astrologers, including me and Joni Patri, we all feel that, especially after so many charts, that Navamsa kind of like takes over after the age of 35, 36. Like you must, look at Navamsa through certain aspects of your life, or mostly all the aspects of your life. But today, and obviously to know about this concept, if you do not know what your Navamsa placements are, what your chart placements are, and you want to know what your Navamsa chart is all about, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, where on the second page you'll see the Navamsa chart and the birth chart on top, including all my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects at the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So today's video is going to be about finding passion and life direction, not life direction as such, a marriage direction, and finding that liveliness in your marriage. I don't know how to rephrase it. This video is about how to make your marriage work. How to make your marriage work. And if you're single, if you do not want to get married ever, this is still a video for you, because this will show you how to find that passion in your life if you feel dead inside. Yeah, this is not about your income or your career or anything. No. Sometimes our passion, our life, things that make us feel good might be completely different than what our career is, what we're doing. We're probably doing something that we love, yet we're still not finding that passion. We're not feeling alive. So that's what it's about. So, and the reason why I'm making this video is because I actually did a consultation just yesterday of a woman. She got the marriage consultation. Usually I don't do post-marriage consultation at all. It just says it right there on my website. I only do pre, or unless you're divorced, separated, or legally separated, or widowed. But she said, and she has a very nice way of approaching that. That's why I did this consultation. She said, look, I don't want to know, about how my married life is. I already know that. She's like, I want to know, can you help me? How do I find that passion again in my marriage? How do I find that zest in my marriage? I feel like I'm lost. I feel like my relationship is lost. Can you just tell me the steps that I can take, the itty bitty steps that I can take in my life to better my marriage, to improve my marriage? And that's where I'm like, wow, I've never had this before, or never had a person ask me this before. And luckily, through all this knowledge that I've gained just in 2 years, I'm able to actually help her. So Navamsa chart in Vedic astrology is a chart for not only finding the true dignity of your planet, the heart of your planet. Not only it's about finding your second half of life, but it's also basically, first and foremost, it's your marriage chart. It shows the fruits of your marriage, how the married life will be. Also, the fruits of marriage can be seen from the Sastyamsa chart. Or not Sastyamsa, Saptamsha, the D7 chart. Because what do you create through marriage? Children, right? Children are like fruits of your labor. So you can also look at D7 chart for this concept, which I'll discuss later. It's fun, and it's amazing how accurate it can be sometimes. But this chart is about the married life. It's about your spouse. It's about how your marriage is going to behave. It's about, will your partner and you will take each other to your spiritual ashram, meaning to your salvation, to your happiness. See, that's why we get married. Navamsa chart is the 9th division. Okay? It's the 9th division of our main birth chart. We take the 9th house of the birth chart and we divide that into each house into 9 parts. That's how, like, each zodiac sign, the 30-degree sign, is divided into 9 parts. So this is why this 9th division this ninth house, that when it opens, it's our luck. Ninth house is our luck. It's what brings us luck and all the joy in the world. Ninth house is the dharma house. It's the most potent house in astrology. So Navamsa obviously is supposed to show you that luck, that direction of your luck and your happiness. So, and I've covered mostly all of this stuff redundantly in other videos, but sticking to the subject. When you get married and you want to know, what are the steps do I need to take to keep my marriage alive, to keep the passion in the marriage alive, to keep myself and my spouses happy? And for this, you don't even have to look at your spouse's chart, because your Navamsa is your spouse's chart in a way. You can see the behavior of the spouse. You can see the patterns of your marriage in the Navamsa. So the first thing that you always have to look for is the direction of the Navamsa. What is that? The Ascendant. The Ascendant Lord of your D9 chart. The Navamsa chart is the anchor point. That's the Ascendant, like your birth chart, right? You have to see where the first Lord is placed. You have to see where the first Lord is placed. Meaning the planet that rules, the sign that rules the first house of the Navamsa, where is it placed? It is in the first house itself. It is in the second house. It is in the third house, fourth house, fifth house, all the way to the 12th house. That tells you the direction of the marriage. So let's say if you're born as a Leo ascendant in Navamsa, your sun is placed in the 5th house. Where is the marriage? As soon as the ceremony happens and you sign that document saying that you're husband and wife, the Navamsa kicks in. Now you're starting to live that Navamsa. So when Ascendant Lord is in the 5th house, for Leo Ascendant, Leo Navamsa person, sun is in the 5th house in the sign of Sagittarius. This shows that now your life direction, the marriage, is gonna make you focus towards children. Okay, that's the number one thing. It's gonna make you focus towards the fun in life. It's gonna make you focus towards learning in life. It's gonna make you focus towards romance in life. Now, it's easy, right? Your Navamsa should be guiding you at all times. But then why are so many marriages fail? Why are people unhappy? Well, again, remember the concept that I talked about, the heart of the planet. So if your Navamsa's heart or your Navamsa planet, or planetary dignity in Navamsa is weak, you're not going to realize that direction. You may realize it, you will not go after it. So let's say you're a Cancer ascendant in Navamsa. That means moon rules the ascendant and it's in the 5th house. It's what? Debilitated, right? It's in the sign of Scorpio. You know the direction that this marriage is trying to take you, yet you're not finding a reason to go towards it. You're not finding any passion towards it or reason towards it. And other malefic planets are impacting your moon in the 5th house. So that's what happens. This is why, as much as the Navamsa wants to direct you, you may not want to listen, because your planet, it has coded your DNA in such a way that you do not want to go that way. And that's when your marriage fails. That's when you get married again. That's when the other marriage fails. So when, let's say you're a Leo ascendant in the Navamsa and your ascendant Lord is in the 5th house, shows that the marriage is going to make you focus towards children and all the things that are talked about. So what's going to happen automatically, because sun is in such a good dignity, in a sattvic sign of Sagittarius, which is about higher belief, is the broadening the horizon. I mean, here what the person will do, they will automatically, not only wanting to have children, but they're going to want to spend time with the children. They're going to want to learn more in life, perhaps even get interested in higher philosophy. they are going to automatically feel like in order for my dharma to come alive, I need to be more romantic with my spouse. So you see how automatically when you go towards the ascendant of the Navamsa, the marriage itself starts working out. So when I was looking at this woman's chart, it just ran out of my head, but I remember her ascendant lord. Oh yeah, she was a Libra ascendant. Ascendant Lord Venus was in the 3rd house. And once I looked at it, I knew what was happening. The first thing I told her that, look, first of all, your communication is probably not there. Your communication, you have to communicate. You know how some people do not need to communicate, things just work out, right? Some marriages are that way. Your mom is very quiet, dad is very quiet, but they just somehow understand what the other one needs, okay? But in your case, because the ascendant of the Navamsa is in the 3rd house, marriage is going to operate, the CPU of marriage is going to operate on communication, number 1. So if you don't want marriage to fail, make sure you communicate about everything. Don't hide anything. Number 2, travel, short distance travel. Meaning with your spouse, if that planet is good, with your spouse, you should travel. So when you travel and you see things together, marriage is going to become stronger. Why? Because remember, Venus is in the sign of Sagittarius. 3rd house is a house of short distance travel, right? But the sign of Sagittarius is the original 9th house of long distance travel, pilgrimage, going far away, learning about different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds. So what the marriage says, that the more you travel with your spouse and the more you travel in a way where you're broadening your horizon, your marriage is gonna work out. So if you and your spouse are in Beverly Hills, California, and you're just like in this artificial life living, and marriage could be falling apart slowly. It's been already 2 years. Well, guess what? You need to travel with your spouse. You need to maybe go to Machu Picchu, Sedona. I don't care, go to Vegas. Have fun. We always have fun, me and my wife there. Go to Washington, D.C. See the history. See the Smithsonian Museum. So when you do that, the marriage, it's like you're fixing the coding in the marriage. The things that are going wrong, all the bugs, you're starting to fix that bug with this very first step. So that becomes the very first step for you to improve your marriage. If your ascendant lord, is in the 10th house, you better take care of your career. And this also shows that you need to make sure that your spouse's career is also doing good. What does this mean? You got to understand this philosophically. You have to engage in your husband's or spouse's or wife's career. Meaning you have to talk to them about that. Hey, are there any problems in your career? What's going on? And this also is a very strong indication that perhaps you and your spouse may want to do something together. Perhaps you want to start something together. Start a business together. Or ask your spouse, hey, do you think I should do this job? Like, remember, many marriages fail because the spouse is so arrogant that they're like, man, I need this job. This is my dream job. And we're going to move here. I don't care. So they'll move their family against the will of their wife or their husband to a completely different country where they didn't want to be. So career becomes that obstruction, argala, because of the focus of your career or the dignity of your planet in the 10th house was not the greatest. So what you did, you made the bad decision about career that is going to be fall of the marriage. And I've gotten these situations actually, where somebody moved from US to Singapore and they just weren't happy. They missed home. They wanted to be around family. And the husband never really asked for it. He just accepted the offer and just left. And so now wife was getting this consultation. So don't just look at it, oh, my son-in-law is in the 10th house. I need to focus on my own career. I need to get ahead in order for this marriage to work. No, you got to look at the symbolic meaning behind this. Like, your career needs to revolve around your spouse as well. Your spouse has to have some say in it. This is why it's nice to understand beforehand that if you do not want your spouse to be involved in your career, make sure you marry a person who will not be bothered by you taking any decision on your own. Your ascendant lord of the Navamsa is in the 12th house. What does this mean? This means that not only should you be traveling in foreign lands and foreign places across the sea with your spouse, at least once every other year, once a year at least, but it also shows you and your spouse should join some spiritual organization together. Perhaps you guys should do yoga together, be part of the meditation group together. This is the anchor point of the marriage. Once you go towards that, the marriage is going to start working out. That's part one only, okay? So if ascendant lord is in the ascendant, right? You're a Gemini ascendant and Mercury is right in the ascendant. What does this mean? First of all, this means that it doesn't matter, regardless of the sign, ascendant lord in the ascendant will show that you need to work on yourself first in this marriage in order for the marriage to survive. Meaning you have to be confident, you have to take charge in the family, you have to keep up your health, take good care of your health. You have to make sure you are presenting yourself well out in the world. So everything is falling upon you. You have to improve yourself. So if the marriage is not working out, most likely you're not showering. You don't care. You're just eating. You're gaining weight. You have a high cholesterol and, your wife is worried. But at the same time, you want to do all these things and your wife is like, no, you need to take care of yourself first. So you're not paying attention to it. So that's what happens when ascendant is in the ascendant. Improve yourself, your marriage will improve. So yes, as you can see, I'm filming this in the morning. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Last time when I was filming my video, my battery ran out and then it was so late that I'm like, you know what, it's going to take an hour to charge it. I'm going to bed. So, okay, so we're back again, continuing our discussion of Navamsa chart. Now, we saw that looking at the direction of, the Navamsa or the ascendant lord, we see where the Navamsa wants us to go. Okay, we see where Navamsa wants us to focus on, and by focusing on those things, other things, work out kind of in their own magical manner. However, we also have to see. And this is something you guys will understand when I tell you this, if you have been following me at least for the past 3 months. What is the purpose of the marriage? You got married, right? What is the purpose of the marriage? And why in the world your Navamsa is a certain ascendant, as you might have noticed. And remember, and for this you do need to have your accurate time of birth, because sometimes Navamsa, can change. It changes in 15 minutes, but sometimes the Navamsa can change in 10 seconds, 30 seconds, like you can be on the border, or the Navamsa can change in 2 minutes. So hopefully, you know your Navamsa or your birth time accurately. But here, there's a reason why you were born as a Sagittarius Navamsa. There's a reason why you were born as a Taurus Navamsa. Because just like your purpose of your life, that Sunil taught you in my interviews, there's a reason in your divisional charts why you were born a certain ascendant, because there's a certain purpose you need to serve in your marriage, in your spiritual ashram. So how do you see the purpose of your marriage? Why do I have this person in my life? Why do I have this particular person in my life? Doesn't matter if it's your third person in your life or fourth person in your life as a legal partnership. But why this person? For this, look at your ascendant. See what sign it is. So let's say if you're a Scorpio Navamsa, right? Your Navamsa chart, sure, your ascendant is Taurus, your birth ascendant, but your Navamsa ascendant is Scorpio. How do you find the purpose of your marriage? You look at the 8th house. Why? Because Scorpio is the 8th zodiac sign, is the 8th zodiac sign of the zodiac belt. So that means when I see this number 8 written on your ascendant, I'm going to look at the 8th house and see what planet is there, what's happening, what planet is aspecting, where the Lord of that 8th house is placed. That is going to be the purpose of your marriage. So let's say if 8th Lord is in the 11th house, shows that you are going to be, the reason why you got married to this particular person or certain people is to always gain through them and to transform yourself to be gaining through them. Or your gains that you get may be taken off by someone else. Again, you have to figure out this puzzle. You got to watch some of these interviews that I did with Sunil to figure out, the purpose of your birth, purpose of your life, like he did in Guru Tattva video. So that becomes an important anchor. Like, sure, my life purpose is this. This is what happens. I had to deal with my stepmother, like in Lord Ram's chart. I had to go and get the kingdom and all the things that he was talking about. But we're now specifically concentrating on marriage. What was the purpose of marriage? So once you learn the purpose of your marriage, you can see the things that are going to be happening and things that your free will can control to perhaps change it if it's happening in a negative way. If it shows that the purpose of your marriage is for you to cheat your partner out of financial things and then take off, don't do that. The universe is trying to punish you by your own actions. Due to your past life circumstances, due to all the karma that you have accumulated, universe is making you feel like a puppet where you do the bad thing and then you'll keep paying for it later on. So when you realize that, okay, I'm going to be stealing my wife's money and then I'm going to run away with someone else. Wow. How can I do this? And some of you might have done this. You know how many people I have watching me? So many people out there cheating their spouses, cheating their husband and wives. I had stories where just in my own friend circle, the spouse just simply got married to get the visa, and spouse just simply got married to stay in marriage for 2 years so she can actually get the half of it without any prenup, and she just got a visa, got the half, just left. And so it's not just that your spouse might do this to you. Your action could be the fact that you are to do that negative thing. Like, look at any bad guy. Let's say you look at the Columbine mass shooters in Colorado, in the United States back in 1996. These guys' life purpose, if you look at it, if somebody knows how to read a chart, the basic to advanced, they'll say your purpose of life is to kill other people and to create this mass havoc and die. That was their life purpose. Now imagine if they had this knowledge that I am going to be killing these many people from early on. If they knew this, their free will, the magical part is the free will, which is like a little spark. You know how they say when wildfire happens anywhere in the world, it might have started with a little spark of the lightning or spark from a stone hitting another stone. Same thing the free will is. Free will is like a fire that can burn all your predestined bad things or good things. This is why free will is so important in astrology. Even Parashara has given a great importance to free will. Your free will is the spark that can change. So in your married life, if you realize that the purpose of this marriage is for you to suffer through your spouse, and the spouse that you're gonna marry is going to give you all this trouble, is gonna keep you this, is gonna do this to you, you can then determine Your free will be like, okay, so the spouse that I'm going to marry is going to be this type of a behavior and she's going to try to do this. Or I'm going to try to do this. Then you are much more careful of who you marry. Then instead of blindly putting a fold and telling your parents, okay, yeah, I'm going to ready to do arranged marriage. Find me someone and I'm going to marry. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to take the blindfold off. You're going to try to figure this person out. Who are you? What's your family like? Try to figure out their personality. So your free will helps you determine and to change your path. Everybody asks me, can you change your destiny? Can you change up this? Nobody else can change it, okay? No astrologer, no remedy can change your destiny except you. Nothing can change your destiny except you, because you have the magic pill. What is that magic pill? Your free will and knowledge. Knowledge, I'm giving it to you. Your free will can go to the action. Okay? That's why every divisional chart may have a purpose. Career. What is the purpose, like Navamsa? Purpose of you to get that particular Navamsa chart, right? And we'll discuss this later. But in the Navamsa, this is how you would discuss this. In the Navamsa, this is how you would see this, that you are here to perhaps take care of your spouse's enemy. You are here to deal with the spouse's health. So if you know you married a person who suddenly within 2 years got some chronic illness, and you are so frustrated with it, you are so angry at her or so angry at him, that my life, internally I'm saying, that my God, this is what's my life. But if you knew beforehand, you should be welcoming that this is my debt that I need to pay to this person by taking care of them. So when you marry them, you are, like everything changes with us when we know something is about to happen. Like when we know, let's say 2 weeks before, we're going to get fired. You go through that agony, but then the next day you go to work, and you know that day is coming closer. You're just starting to plan now. And then when that moment comes, like, oh, okay, that's not a surprise to me. Fine, I'll take care of it. I'll find a new job. So if taking care of your spouse is becoming that purpose of your marriage, either you can do that, or you can do all sorts of medical checks on the spouse that you're going to marry and see if everything is okay right now. But again, some things you may not be able to avoid. Only after marriage that illness will come up, no matter how healthy that person is. So you have to determine this on your own free will. How do I approach these things? Should I marry this person because they might cheat me? Okay. Should I go towards these things because that's my dharma to do that? So this is the purpose of your marriage that becomes. And obviously, then the next thing you want to do is look at the Atmakarka of Navamsa. Atmakarka of Navamsa is what? Venus. Look at the condition of Venus. The condition of Venus will also show the condition of your marriage. If Venus is in a good placement, if Venus is in a sattvic placement, rajasic placement, even tamasic placement, it doesn't matter. But Venus has to be in a dignity where it can handle things. So for you to determine, how my marriage is going, the fruits of my marriage. What are my fruits of the marriage? Right? I found my direction, how to work out the marriage. I found the purpose of my marriage. But what are the fruits of my marriage? That shows Venus. Venus is that passion fruit in the marriage. So look at that as well. That tells you the type of circumstances you could be living in. And remember, for fruits of the marriage, look at the D7 chart as well. Especially when you're matching a horoscope, not just look at the Navamsa, but look at the Saptamsha. Besides children, what are other fruits of marriage can you be creating? Number 3, okay? This is like you wanted to find out, where is the focus of your spouse? Yes, Navamsa is asking you to travel. Navamsa is asking you to be involved with children and romance and fun and games. But look at the 7th Lord. Where is the 7th Lord placed? Wherever the 7th Lord is placed, your spouse is also going to be involved in those things. Your spouse is going to be involved in these things. Ascendant doesn't show where your spouse is going to be involved. Ascendant simply showing where the marriage is going to improve through, how the marriage is going to improve, what things that are needed. Travel is needed, right, to improve your marriage. But now you want to see where's the focus of your spouse. 7th Lord is in the 9th house. Your spouse is going to be very much interested towards higher studies or philosophy or religious organization, spiritual organization. So now when you are married, you see, okay, so my 7th Lord is the 9th house. Perhaps you want to engage with your spouse towards those things. Say, hey, why don't we go to this mandir today? They have this function going on. I think we'll enjoy it. And your spouse will be like, what? She actually wants to do this? All right, let's go. Wow, I thought she never wanted to go to church with me. And now she wants to go to church? Or let's say your 7th Lord is in the 2nd house. What does this mean? Just spend time with your spouse inside a home, inside with your family. Call up your friends, call up your family members. So if your wife, is not, feeling that connection with you, look at where your 7th Lord is placed and go towards those things. 7th Lord is in the 2nd house. Engage with your family, with your spouse. Have family gatherings. Same thing with the 4th house. Be in home more. Sit and watch some movie with your family. Perhaps you're so busy in work, your wife or your husband's focus or their agenda is somewhere else. Try to be in that agenda. You don't have to. I'm just giving this if you want to work things out. I'm not saying that you should be doing this after marriage. Sure, in a perfect world, everybody should be. But then people don't. And people won't even after this video, because the dignity of the planets is something you're going to have to overcome. So this is the 3rd anchor point of your chart, or your Navamsa chart. And from just these 3 things, you can work the marriage out. Just these 3 things. The Ascendant, Venus, and the 7th Lord. And this is not to see if you should marry this person or not. No. Anybody you marry, no matter how much you're in love with them, they have their own path. They have their own agenda. They have their own passion. And so it's your job to work at it. And it's their job to work at it through their side. And believe me, if you guys are already married, you should test your Navamsas. This is how your anchor point will always be working. But like they say, the heart of the Navamsa is the Atmakarka of the Navamsa, Venus. How is Venus placed? Where is Venus placed? That's going to show the quality of the spouse. And then the 4th one becomes especially for women, which is Jupiter. Jupiter is the significator of husband. The actual peculiar personality, the agenda of the husband. So you also want to look at this 4th anchor of husband, Jupiter. And let's say if you are a lesbian couple, then stick to Venus. If you're a gay couple, then look at Mars and Venus both. And this will show you where and how you need to improve that life. And this is just the most simplest thing ever. Yet people, or most people, don't tend to study Navamsa that way, or they don't see it, how simple it is to improve the condition of the life or to see where the problem is occurring. Whether it's communication problems, sexual problems, family problems, whatever the problem is, you can just see it from these 3 basic things. So, and for people who are single, like I was saying, if your Navamsa is in the 9th house, your Ascendant Lord is in the 9th house, your Navamsa is saying that in order for you to feel alive again in your 2nd half, right? In your 2nd half of life, if you want to feel alive again, start traveling. Perhaps in your youth, you didn't need to travel, you were happy, fine. But then we start losing interest, we go through our midlife crisis. And instead of, you buying a Porsche, travel and you'll feel alive. Your Ascendant Lord is in the 8th house. Perhaps dive into some mystery, learn astrology, learn some mystical things, learn about the secrets of the world. That will bring you alive. And that's how it works. So guys, this is my analysis of how to improve conditions in your marriage through Navamsa or improve your life in Navamsa. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Navamsa is, how your Navamsa planetary placements are, what your birth chart is, all my books, consultations, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.